Hi, welcome back to Dallas Twang. I'm Dave. Got an E major piece for you here today. Super laid back. And if you notice, I did a lot of repetition of the note sequences in that intro. That's what this is really about. Just getting, 2 for 1, 3 for 1, 4 for 1. And it sounds good, and it helps you kind of get into a place of relaxing and comfort in a key and just in a zone where you really can start channeling some of the other stylistic elements and like really listen to what you're playing and kind of not have to worry about scales and things as much. So we've been doing a few videos in that style lately, and I hope it's helping. Sometimes they're not as exciting as like here's a whole bunch of information and a lot of mental gymnastics. Now we get to think about all this stuff about, the chord tones and all that. But, along with all that kind of learning, we want to do some things that just where we can really relax and get into just sort of, coloring things and shaping things without a whole lot of worrying about the theory and what's going on. Okay. So all that being said, I was going to just start the video and do the loop and everything with you, and so that I could show you these chord voicings for E, because you might not be familiar with some of these voicings, and but they sound cool. And they sound a little more, jazzed up than they really are. They're not that hard. But I'll tell you where I kind of got this was, it has sort of a Purple Rain kind of sound to the progression. But that would be done more with like triads and kind of, regular rock chords. But there's a Peter Gabriel. I think it's just Peter Gabriel. I don't think it's Genesis, but an older tune called Here Comes the Flood. And I think I've mentioned this before in a video. It's just sort of a game changer for me, like the piano part of it. And the voicings of these chords. And so that's where I kind of got some of these, just if you want to listen to that, it's a really cool song, has a lot of the same sort of musicality of the way that I just played that loop. But here's what's going on. It's E, it's just an E major chord I'm using for that first one. If you want to get a little fancy on that or just something fun, that's an E major 9. You add that F sharp right there. So make it like you're making a 7th. You don't want to play a dominant 7th right here. You want it to be a full major. Put your pinky over there. That's a nice. Yeah, maybe a new one for you there. But an E works perfectly well too. Then it goes to A major 7. Okay, in that intro though, I just played it like this. all strings open. I'm leaving out the bottom E on this one. So I'm starting from the open A. Then that's the 6th fret of the next 2 strings. And then the top 2 are open. That's a cool sound for an A major 7. All this stuff kind of, you listen to that Peter Gabriel thing, Here Comes the Flood, you'll see what I mean. It sounds just like this. And then, so our progression is E, or E major, A major 7, could be an E major 7, I suppose. I just play an E. E, A major 7, C sharp minor, and then B. Okay, so for the C sharp minor, I'm going, okay, now, if you're like me, you're like, why go to all that trouble? Right? You know, I got to stretch this pinky. It's the only thing that makes that needed is because you're playing this. You could go, right? Kind of a sus 2 thing, right? Or, you know, kind of chord. If you play that note here, then you can put these 2, keep those 2 strings open in it again, okay? So I'm not going to take up your whole lesson time with this, but this is kind of cool. If you do, and it's just a good thing to, you know, look into sometimes at how you can really make a simple progression sound like something more or different, make it shine. And then for the B, it's real simple. I'm just going, just playing those notes like a power chord. I had a meeting this morning with a student and a friend out in California, and we were talking about like these kinds of voicings and stuff, and he knew a lot of them, you know, and it kind of reminded me of them, so I guess that's why I picked this up today. But it really is fun. And then again, leaving these 2 open. So we end up with something like this. And then, yeah, and then you just like destroy it by playing the wrong, you turn it around on the wrong chord or whatever. But yeah, you know, if you want to, you know, you want to show up at practice or at a jam or whatever and kind of, you know, mess with the other guitar players a little bit or something over there, that's, you know, pull that out for for your E jam, right? So now on to the main event here, which is we're going to use a lot of E major pentatonic stuff. Okay, got to tune minute by minute out here these days with the weather. So, you know, anywhere you want, but let's stay right in here just because most of us are familiar with this. All right. So if you're making a loop or something, again, you can just play the standard triads too. Your loop could be. Nothing wrong with that. I guess this one's not a triad, is it? It is a major 7. You could probably just play and get away with an major triad there, but go ahead and make the A7, sounds better. So we're going to go right into this. This kind of speaks for itself. Not a lot of explaining to do on this today, but watch how I can, if I find something, I'll mess around, and when I find something I like, I'll just repeat it and like audition it all the way around the progression repeatedly. Well, I guess I liked the very first thing there, right? So let's say Okay. And you know what I think that's tricking me, my ear? You ever like when I got a little chorus on that because I like that with that flavor of that uh, rhythm style, right? And it kind you ever notice that, especially on plugins, not so much on like analog effects, but like in this garage band environments, that stuff will start to sound like it's detuning a lot of it. And sometimes I want, maybe I'm just getting old. Sometimes I wonder if it's like tricking my ear. Like, am I really in tune, or is that chorus, or what? So we're just gonna go with it. But see how that worked? I could just be kind of wandering around, or even just getting warmed up um, with this E major pentatonic. Now, see, if I just kind of start checking out, then I'll play that kind of, southern, rock kind of pattern or whatever. And I like that. And if I were really just at a jam or something, that's what I'd be doing. I would just kind of do my thing, right? But, for the point of this exercise, I'm going to take that stuff and like isolate little parts of it that seem, you know, like they fit and like they have something tasty about it. There's a contour to it, and this is fun because it's like you're taking like a bunch of raw material and like pulling out pieces from it, right? But then repeating it to see how it works over the whole progression. And one of the ones that I wasn't planning on demonstrating in that intro was just going up and going. Maybe that is. Right, but when I got up there, I was like, man, talk about one that'll last over and over all the way around that thing. Okay. All right. So we've learned some chord voicings for E, and you can, by the way, you can mix those things up and make all kinds of different progressions, right? I could go. Okay, so that's a little songwriter's kit kind of thing there, right? Take those four chords, E, A major 7, C sharp minor, and B, mix those around, right? You can't go wrong if you use, just for guitar soloing and improvising, use the E major scale and the E major pentatonic. In all the demos that I did just now with the single note stuff, I just used the pentatonic. I might have put, every once in a while I might have snuck one other note in there, but I want you to, see and get used to and get settled into like the power of that pentatonic, how much stuff you can get out just out of that, right? I mean, it's endless. It literally is endless. And so this repetition thing, really dig in. And, you know, sometimes you notice at the end of it, like you really need to adjust it. Like when I went, but the repetition is, whoops, okay. This is so much fun because everything starts working, right? And really take the time to, don't just say like, oh, that one sounds cool. I need to find some more. Like really hang out on that lick and get into the bending and really, spend time with it and make every part of it count dynamically. And then let that become like the thing that it all branches out from, a motif like that. And it'll change things for you right away if you're not used to that, because it just takes away this whole business of rambling. It really does. It just gets you in to the music, into what you're playing. All right, so I hope you enjoy those chords. Again, if they bother you, like the pinky thing on that C sharp minor, just scrap it. Just don't kill yourself. Don't suffer just for the sake of like, I have to do it that way. You'll get around to it later. All right, let me know how this goes. Appreciate you. Thanks to all the new members. We are adding people every week on here. I'm not even keeping up with all the thank yous. And if I haven't contacted you, thank you. I mean, every other day I look on there and somebody's joined. So really, really appreciate it. That's exciting for the channel. All right, take it easy now. See you next time.